Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to my New Zealand adventure tour. We are getting ready to go on leg number 6. This is the longest leg that we have on this entire event. It's going from Wellington, the Wellington area to Christchurch. I'm sorry, not the Wellington area. It's from Nelson to Christchurch. It's about 130 nautical miles. And kind of getting ready to leave here midday. So, as always, I am going to go ahead and get myself moving, get the plane going, get the flight plan loaded up, and then we will go from that point. Alright, so we are getting ready to taxi out of here. It's interesting, though, that it seems that there's some sort of a limit distance-wise, but you know, we're taking a full contingent of fuel here, so definitely a lot going on. Now I want to... Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just probably, you know, figure out a way to pull away otherwise, because I'm not going to restart the engine again. But we'll see if I do that. I think that will allow me to go backwards. Yep, there we go. And then I should be able to rotate. So we're going to stop there. And then we are going to head out. So let's see if this will be enough to move. There we go. But yeah, I want to definitely be moving along if I can. So we're going to have this space here, and then we're going to go along the runway there. So that'll take us where we need to be. And we're immediately going to take off once we have the opportunity to get on the runway. So it might be a little bit of a challenging approach, but you know, we'll see how things go. But there we go. So we are on our way. So we've got a nice long runway here for what we need, for sure. So should be able to rotate at this point, take off. Head out that way. Get myself, so we're only at about 140 feet according to this, so let's get a little ways out. Let's see if we do that, and then I probably want to go that way, head on up. Alright, we'll push back the throttle a bit. Okay, what exactly is happening? Is it climbing? It should be climbing. It's trying, it's just struggling a bit. I don't understand why. Also trying to figure out, because right now we are heading in a circle, which makes no sense whatsoever. So let's see. Flight plan. Yeah, I'm literally going in a circle here. So let's see. Can I go direct? So I think that will get us where we need to go then. So I want to go to... Alright, so hold on. So again, I need to climb. So I'm going to get myself to... I'm going to say 6,500, because I think that's what we're going to need. So I think the problem is it was somehow set on some sort of a flight. Alright, am I going in the right direction? 5.3. Yeah, I think it's... I mean, we are going down, or you know, counting down, so I think that's all right. So I'm going to climb faster here. Just so we can get up to the top. We'll put away our gear. We'll also put away our flaps, because at this point we should be able to, you know, get multiple things going here. There we go. So gear is done. And then we're just going to want to, let's see, look there. And that should get us then where we need to be. Just making sure I do have my fuel on auto, so it should be doing that, and hopefully with a little bit of the screwing around we won't have a problem here. Otherwise that will be a very unfun type of direction, but there we go. So it's turning left in 6 seconds. So we're going to have a bit of a circle around, and this is probably, again, just to climb out. But at this point, like, the airport's going to be, you know, back in that direction somewhere, I think. If we're kind of looking, it's actually more behind us, but... So I obviously want to get far enough out. We're getting close. And I'm just going to be high enough here that I don't know that I want to be playing with any of the mountains or anything. So, alright, let me see. If I go that way, yeah, that will move me forward, because this is what, 5 nautical miles? I might not want to be quite that. There we go. Let's do 7.5. And that might be a little more reasonable. It's telling me we've got about 44 minutes of flight time, but you know, that's with a lot of things happening, so we'll see how everything goes. But at this point, you know, we're up here. You know, I think the airport's there, so I think that's where we took off, and then we're basically kind of circling around this valley and then finally heading out. So definitely a much more roundabout route than would normally be the case. But I know I didn't have a lot of extra fuel, so I want to be really careful as I start getting close that I don't have, you know, something unexpected as far as the you know, the direction that I'm heading in, and so forth. So you know, now we're probably, you know, finally heading south, but it's a long trip out, kind of in the wrong direction, honestly. So, you know, but at this point we're committed. The good news is, I think, you know, we're 142, 139 liters, so I think we're doing okay. You know, in theory it's 74 gallons per hour, because I assume these are gallons. So if we're flying for less than an hour, you know, then it shouldn't be too bad, because yeah, we're at this point, I think we're doing everything we can to go as fast as we can. Flaps are up, gear is up, you know, so we are definitely where we want to be, and you know, just heading in the correct direction. But more importantly, you know, the mountains we came out of are over there, but I think we're gonna have more. I don't know, maybe I don't need to be quite this high, but I'm just a little worried, because until we turn in and start seeing, because right now, you know, let's see, yeah, I mean, over there, they're up there, so if we start seeing orange again on the map, we're going to have our work cut out for us, that's for certain. But we've got a good long flight. Again, the longest one that we're going to have available to us here on these New Zealand legs. So there's a town down in that direction somewhere that we're coming up on, I think. Tapanir? Not sure. Really small print, so I don't think it's very big. You know, and maybe it's that one down there in the valley that we're seeing. And we're going to take a good sharp turn to the left here. And, you know, then I think we go for 20 nautical miles in that direction. So that's going to be a ways. And, you know, kind of heading more toward, so there's definitely a town down there. And yes, that would be the one that I see on the map. But, you know, it's a pretty hefty turn if we look at what we're doing. You know, but now we're down to 139. So I'm feeling okay. It's not like we're pouring fuel out. So there was a bit of confusion, and I don't know if this is something with a virtual airline or whatever, but when I filed the flight plan, I mean, it's 200 nautical miles even the way I have the plan done, because I think it's 130 nautical miles as the crow flies between these. So, you know, we've added some mileage, but when I look up the distance for this plane online, it's 989 nautical miles, but I got some sort of a warning that it exceeds the plane's range limit. So I don't know what that means. So, you know, it doesn't make any sense because this isn't that long of a flight. You know, even as I look at the map here, you know, again, we're doing clear skies, we're doing all of that type of thing. So we definitely, you know, want to be enjoying the view. I'm a little tempted to go lower, but alright, so we can still see the bay out there. We're not far enough inland that we've lost that view. See, and I'm not sure when we came in. I think we came in more that way. So we may be further south than we were from the initial flight and so forth. So, but again, we're going to go, then we're going to turn a little bit to the right, it looks like, and head over, and then eventually kind of get almost back on this path again. Because even the height for this plane, I mean, I think it's able to go to 18,000 or even higher than that. But, you know, that's the only thing I was a little worried about is, you know, do I have some sort of limit that I can't get high enough to cross the terrain? And I suppose if we do, we're going to find that out in an unpleasant way. But I don't think that would be the situation. So, just enjoying the view, the flight, all of it. It's definitely a enjoyable view, and a little bit more of kind of what I was expecting, like I said, with the mountains and so forth. Heading out into the interior of the South Island. But yeah, so the mountains in front of us, it looks like we're going to go around the edge a bit. And as we get closer, that's where, you know, I'll definitely kind of keep an eye out to just make sure that we're not, you know, going somewhere unexpectedly. So yeah, we're heading to Nesta, which was the first nav aid, or nav point, or waypoint along the way that we were supposed to go to. So let's see. But yeah, definitely more snow-capped peaks there. You know, again, we can still kind of see the shoreline, but it's definitely starting to fade away. And what, we're a little under 3 nautical miles. We've got some sort of airspace marking here or something on my map. You know, the blue that we're entering, that is kind of in this space. I'm not sure what it is denoting, but there we go. We're going to turn a bit and then head over to Alada, and then we'll be moving back a little bit. It's not going to be quite as severe, but this one isn't, you know, it's only 10 nautical miles, but we might be kind of going along a little bit along that ridge line. And then again, I just have to pay attention to what we have with those peaks, because yeah, then it looks like we are absolutely, once we get past some water, so can't even see the water. Like, in theory, there's some lake or something over there. So that gives you some indication of the terrain we're talking about here. But it seems like we're high enough. But yeah, you can see it's getting much darker than even those peaks there. You know, but I would think we can go up to another couple thousand feet if we need to, and that should be plenty. So it's telling me now 25 minutes, about 105 nautical miles. You know, the thing I don't know is, again, once we get there, and I think now I know how to fly direct. I just pick the point, and then that little D got me there. So I think I can cut off a little bit of the distance that we had flowing along at one point. Alright, so now I think we're starting to see, and so I'm assuming we're kind of going to go that way. Although we're supposed to be turning before we get to the water, so maybe it'll be more that way? I'm not sure. Alright, this is looking like I'm going to need a bit more, so I'm going to go up another 1,000 feet just because I am not comfortable with what I'm seeing. So I probably need, you know, the 1100 or something, but at this point, like, you know, we're getting close to the tops of these things here, you know, and maybe we're going to go through in that direction a little bit. You know, we're Well, here we go. We'll find out in a moment, because we'll be pointing right at it, and then we'll be able to see if it looks like it's looming ahead of us, or if we feel like maybe we've cleared what we need to do. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that. Because, like, right now, I mean, it looks like I've got plenty of clearance. But, I don't know. I mean, those are pretty close. So we've got to go... Is it 50? Oh, yeah. So we're heading straight over here. Alright. So I am going to increase this yet another step. And if that isn't enough, that's going to get interesting, is all I can say. So that's another 1,000 feet. Now, and again, Christchurch is 123 feet, is where Christchurch International Airport is. So, you know, we may be crossing mountains here, but they don't go down to the edge. I know it said somewhere on these legs we're going to be landing on mountainside airports. So I'm obviously still a little nervous about that. I mean, I think I've got decent control of this plane. Alright, I think we're okay here. So yeah, we are kind of flying right down that ridge line. But yeah, this is impressive. But yeah, I think we're good on the height and the distance. But definitely a lot going on. And we are now kind of closing in. And there we go, leveling out at 8,500. So I'm going to try to stick with it here and see how that moves along. 91 nautical miles. So we've got a long way, but wow, this is buffeting us around a bit. This is where it's nice, you know, letting an autopilot kind of handle this. And now, again, there could always be some sort of problem that happens. So we're still at 133 per tank. And we've dropped down to 71, you know, maybe just because, again, a little bit higher up, there's a little bit less air resistance. You can do a little better. Wow. Yeah, this is amazing country, I'll tell you that. Just definitely sheer natural beauty. So, well, we're gonna know pretty soon if we start getting any kind of warnings, but I'm thinking I'm a good amount up. But 7,500 might have been tricky. I mean, the thing is, I don't really see anything out of my windscreen, so I should be high enough. You know, not getting any warning yet. There's like a little lake up here. Look at that. And then it just drains down the hill or something. But it's almost like the meltwater, and then it goes down and around and into the valley, and wow. Really, really incredible. So I know I'm usually trying to, you know, stay in the cockpit, I guess, to be a little quieter, but this is just too much to take in. Wow. Alright, so it's getting calmed down a little bit. But we are traversing kind of from the north end down to what would be the eastern shore. is where Christ Church is. You know, again, I think we're certainly high enough, so I'm less concerned now. I'm a little tempted to maybe drop down a bit, but that might put things a little too close for comfort. Because, yeah, I don't know that we're 1,000 feet above that. And I just don't know what else we're running into as we continue on, so, because we've still got nearly 40 nautical miles. But I'm going to go ahead and try. I'm going to see if I take it down to 7,500. What that looks like. And if that will get us a bit closer to the surface and give us a little bit more of a feeling of being, you know, in the natural beauty. I mean, you know, I don't want to be trying to traverse valleys with the plane or anything like that. We're not doing that kind of flying here, that's for sure. But I would like to be a little bit lower if I could. You know, because, yeah, that does seem to be a little bit of the taller part. I'm not seeing anything that pronounced in front of me. And, you know, at this point we're leveling out again. But, you know, I do see whatever that is, so I'm thinking I'll stay up here, because until I get a clearer view of whatever that may be, you know, that I'll want to stick with where I'm at. Now we can see on the map here, maybe we're coming up on some areas that are going to be less mountainous. But overall, I mean, this sprawls out a good way. As far as we can see, even up here with this vantage point. You can just see all the rivers that drain these valleys and so forth. So yeah, that actually just looks like a simple valley. But then mountains right on the other side of it again, so might not be significantly different. So I thought we were dropping down, but, you know, looking at the overall map, we definitely are pretty substantially in the center of the island. So there's definitely a lot of land surrounding us here. So, just gonna let this go for a little bit and just kind of enjoy the view, I guess. Well, oops, I don't want to turn. I want to just give you a view out the window for a little while. Just make sure we're not seeing anything concerning. We're not, so I think we're good. So I think we can go down. I'm going to go down a couple thousand feet. Take it down to 5,500. Again, I may regret this, but I think we'll be all right. But this is right about, yeah, the edge of the valley. So the valley kind of goes back that way that we were looking at, but you know, we can at least start to see some terrain that's a little less pronounced. So maybe getting out of the hardy interior a little bit. But yeah, what I probably want to start doing is taking a look. Let's see. So this is what I need here. And see, I think I want to go to DO16M. So can I pick that right away? DO16M, I can. Alright, well maybe I want to go to Ferns. Let's do that. Alright, there we go. And then that will move us a bit differently. Shorten our path a little. And, you know, no reason to assume that I can't do that. Alright, definitely getting a little close, where yes, another 1,000 feet might be too much, given that I'm going to go down 300 more still, and... But, you know, the nice thing is this also then kind of takes me out of flying over that heavier terrain. Because then I do need to get over, you know, here where it tells me 2,500. And so this is where it really becomes interesting of, if I do VNav, you know, will it take me down at that point? So, you know, we're far enough over here that we're good. And that was probably the biggest peak we've got between here and our final destination. But, you know, now we can start to see, you know, runway 20 is there, but so basically this will circle us around. And the reason I didn't go off of that is that does seem like that maybe is a way to come in, where I had come into D290, and it was just more roundabout than I needed, absolutely. Because then we're going to have, what, 8, 10, 12, so maybe 15. So F120 puts us at 2,000, and then we, in theory, have 6 miles to get down the rest of the way. But, you know, once again, this is where it gets a little bit intriguing, because, you know, when does VNav start moving you down appropriately and so forth? But we are still over 40 nautical miles away. So I'm thinking that is this spot here. But yeah, definitely a bit of farm field and, you know, land again that is cultivated, and where they're able to grow some of the food they need. But I've not really looked up specifically, like, what the population... I don't know that New Zealand is that many people, but it does seem like there are large areas that really aren't heavily inhabited in any way. There's certainly no official town or anything. Speaking of official towns, there's some kind of out in this direction. You know, maybe over there somewhere. It looks like, let's see, let's zoom in a bit. Hawarden. It's Hawarden, and Walkari is more out, you know, that way, maybe. So at this point, Hawarden's more over to, like, we're passing it. You know, and it's a ways away, so I mean, it might be over there. Hard exactly to tell where, but I think we're seeing some of the water there and so forth. Let's see. Can I do? No, I can't do the approach, because there is an ILS approach for this, is what I think we have set up. So that can help a little bit for sure to bring me in. But 32 nautical miles, about 7 miles away. Looks like we've got a bit of shade here on this side of the mountain. You know, from, obviously I assume the sun is up in that direction somewhere. Oh, there you go. No, that's just dark trees. Wow. That is definitely an interesting, interesting layout there. Like I said, see, because in theory, VNav should, you know, bring me down at the appropriate time, and I think that's what VAlt is supposed to be meaning, but it just always seems like I'm too far up, because at this point we're, you know, 15 miles away, and, you know, I think we're supposed to be at 2,500 feet. So it would seem like once we're at 10, I don't know, I just don't know that I want to chance this, because if it doesn't start to go down, well, let's see. So now something's going on there. So that this whole thing has appeared. This is coming down. So I'm willing to give it a bit of a chance here. Because, yeah, it looks like it's telling me it's going to go down at 20... Or no, that's where I need to get to, is 2,500. And so I assume that's going to do some, you know, reasonable glide slope that isn't going to be incredibly uncomfortable. I'm going to back off a bit and start slowing down, because I also don't want to be, you know, creating that, because right now it's, you know, in theory I'm 5 nautical miles away, or no, 5 minutes, never mind, 22 nautical miles. So let's go, let's see. So now we're hitting that. I'm assuming this is now going to take me there, or not. Come on, what are you doing? This is making me very nervous now. Because I would think at this point, well, but this is coming down. I kind of want to give it a shot. I suppose I could just fly back around. It seems like I have plenty of fuel. Because, yes, if I'm not at 2,500 at Ferns, I'm going to need to do something else. See, so I'm not sure. Maybe this is the 2,500. I mean, because, yes, if it starts diving down, like, it could certainly do something substantially different here. All right, if it does not start diving shortly, I mean, because I'm assuming this isn't I guess that is the glide slope or something, but so let's see. Nav, VNav, alright. So I would say at this point it's clearly not not doing what I need, so I am going to drop down. I'm going to get that to 2500. Okay, I'm diving a bit too much here, so I don't want to be doing that. But yeah, I want to turn and get away from that point, and then basically come back down. Whoops, we're climbing. We don't want to be doing that. Alright, I'm just kind of looking where I'm at, because then, you know, I can let the plane and the navigation come back on its own at some point. Alright, so we'll do 2500, and wow, we're still not really at a full 180 from where we were. But, you know, maybe once I get to, say, 3500 or something, we can start to turn back around. All right. Let's go back down. All right. I'm going to open the flaps a little bit here. That should slow me down a good amount. So get ourselves lower. Turn off the VNav. We're going to turn on vertical speed. All right. And now we're going to try this. And at this point, it should circle around and dive down a good amount to get me where I need. But, you know, now we've got enough room. You know, we're almost 10 nautical miles away from that point, and then at least I can, you know, feel as if I'm in a better spot. So there we go. We're within 1,000 feet. But yeah, I'm either going to have to read up or take a look at what's going on with VNav. And maybe I just wasn't waiting long enough and it was going to do some crazy dive, but I don't think so. Because yes, at this point, now we're going to be, you know, where we don't necessarily need to be. It's, you know, leveling out here. You know, and it levels out pretty quickly, so, you know, maybe it would have worked. Because, see, like right now it says Alt. It doesn't say V-Alt. So that's the piece. Like, theory, you know, because it's like LNAV and VNav on, like, an airliner. You know, now we're 7 miles out. And kind of looping back toward where we need to be. And again, we've got the V, but it hasn't captured that. Not quite sure why it's rotating the way it is. I guess it just wants to go toward ferns a little more aggressively. think we're in pretty good shape. So 5 miles out. Should turn to the left a little bit in a little while here. Because at this point I'd say I'm still a little too far away from the airport. Alright, so like I said, turned a little bit left. Down to 3 nautical miles. You know, but at this point, this is about where we were at, and we were still at like 5,500. So whatever it was doing, like it had indicated something, but it just was not working. Alright, so it's definitely trying to do a few compensating points. We've got a few running tracks or something out there. There's the water. Alright, so now I think it's just kind of trying to line up on where I'm headed next, because yes, now it's... So now it's doing something else. So it looks like it's going to DO16M, 6.8 miles out, but that again, you know, should be 2,000. See, flight level change doesn't do it, but see now it's got Alt and V-Alt and... So now if I do this... Because then it needs the location and the glide slope, but I don't know if this doesn't have me on the nav point then. Because I certainly need to turn in more aggressively for sure. You know, once I'm doing that. There's just not a lot of room for error here. Let's be honest. Because it's like if this doesn't turn and doesn't grab, you know, that's not what I want. But we're 2 nautical miles away. Alright, it's telling me turn right in 7 seconds, so I'm assuming it will still do that. Yeah, so it's definitely turning, so even though it's on approach, it appears to be accurate. And then we should see the localizer lock in at some point once we come around enough. And eventually the glide slope is coming in, and that has worked once before, the 1ILS approach that I had, so everything's kind of coming in. I think maybe the white line is the localizer. I don't know. We'll find out in a little bit, like it should be happening soon. It has not done anything yet. Alright. Not enjoying that. Come on, lock in. Alright, the localizer finally did. And then their glide slope did. There we go. And there's the runway. So at this point, we want the gear down. I want to slow down a bit more. And we'll put full flaps out. And we should get a pretty good slowdown then. But now we are, definitely getting slower and on the glide slope. So there we go. A little over 5 nautical miles to the runway. And we will then be down here in Christchurch. So there's some mountains over there, or some hills on the island that you can see on the map. But yeah, this is definitely a large... I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm heading down. It stopped. Alright, so again, 123 feet is in theory what I have to be coming down into. We're still at 1,300, about 3.5 miles out. So a nice gentle glide slope for sure. Coming in at, what, 750 feet a minute? Which is pretty crazy aggressive, but that's the way it's designed. Under 1,000. And now we're 2 nautical miles out, just under 800. And we're doing well, aiming for the runway, a little bit less buffeting around. So, maybe the mountains have gotten some things a little more controlled, I don't know. But yeah, see, we're 1 out, we're just under 500. Like, this doesn't seem like we're going down fast enough. I mean, you can see the ground coming up on the altimeter too, where it's telling us we're at. Again, not sure what that was, but okay, arriving at the airport, or at waypoint, I'm sorry, not airport. In theory, I touched down going up, which is interesting. Okay, why? Oh, I see. Because we're not slowing down. I've got my brakes on, but goodness. All right, can we exit here? All right, I think we're finally slow enough that we can exit here. Wow. Yeah, I kind of forgot to turn things off, I suppose. That's all I could have said with that. Looks like we've got a bit of the terminal and so forth here for sure. So get ourselves in the vicinity. This probably does take me right to the terminal, so we won't go all the way there, but get that done. Move this over, and then shut everything off. And that should get us there. Alright, so I think things are filed. I think we're good. So, again, hope you've enjoyed it here in Christchurch. We've got a little bit of a long leg next. It's still a little over 100 nautical miles, and once again, depending on how our flight plan might take us, might be a little bit more roundabout, but definitely a little bit longer of a flight than previously, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, and you haven't dropped a like for the video, please consider that. And if you are not a subscriber, please consider that as well. And I will see you next time.